Good morning, everyone. I hope all is well. Here in Claimtown land, it is still quite early in the morning. I warped on this yarn yesterday after designing the pattern on Weave It. I'll put all the links in the descriptions to all of these things. Fantastic resource, a program for weavers who want to design their own patterns. It's super easy, and even an idiot like myself was able to use it. This is my second weave on my 80 centimeter Ashford rigid Heddle. I think you saw the previous one where I did all my samples. I thought, well, I've done a sample, I'm a pro now. So excuse me if I use the wrong terms for things or don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm still a very, very raw beginner. So I have finished slaying my reed. I think that's the correct term. I have tied on to my apron rod. Lashing, I think that is the term for that one. Just a quick reminder, the yarns I've used is this from Ellie Yarns Alula. It's all discontinued, unfortunately. It's 100% acrylic. It's a double knit yarn. It's very nicely plied. I don't know if you can see there. So it has thick bits and thin bits. I hazard to say it's like a hand spun, but no, yeah, it is. It also tends to want to felt, which I think would be very nice for when I come later on to fulling the yarn when I wet it. So this is a 200 gram 600 meters, and yeah, that's that one. This one's name actually is Weaver, which is quite nice. And then the other one that I've used is called Hummingbird. So we have Hummingbird and Weaver. Let's hold them together here so you can see Hummingbird and Weaver. They both are variegated. They have quite a long stripe pattern. I think you can kind of see here. And then I'll put a picture of the design I've used. But I've literally, this is how I warped. So I've got 6 Weaver, 4 Hummingbird, 4 Weaver, 6 Hummingbird, 2 Weaver, 2 Hummingbird. And then I repeated it, we're going to repeat it down the wefts in the opposite direction. So starting with the Weaver, going down the Hummingbird. So I calculated I have 240 ends for my 80 centimeters. And the goal is to end up with a finished length of around about 2 meters. So I've warped on 2.6 meters. And I'm going to replace this apron rod with a dowel, which is just attached to either side. A cool tip I saw from my friend Judith this morning. And I will definitely do that. I think that's going to also eliminate these things in the middle, and I'm not too happy with this plastic. The other thing I did notice on this reed, I'll show you at some stage, it seems to be this reed is being inserted the wrong way around, if one wants to put it that way. The label, the Ashford label, is here in front, but the reeds are facing the wrong way. All my other reeds are right, they face this way. This one is facing that way for some strange reason. I've also used these ties just to hold the reed in place while I do the lashing, and obviously also while I threaded it. So I'm going to remove those now, I don't need them anymore. And what I actually wanted to do is just some ASMR for the tensioning. After it's tension, just listen to this. I hope you can hear. It sounds like almost like a harp. I don't know if my mic picked that up. Anyway, I thought that was super satisfying. So as I said, I've got quite a nice pattern going, which should be really interesting actually, seeing as it is a variegated yarn. It's not all that variegated, but it is quite stripy, and the colors are extremely similar. But I think it will still give a nice result at the end of the day. So what I'm going to do now is weave on 4 or 5 rows just to balance out the weave, and then I'm going to start. And I might bring you in later or do some pictures as I go, but I'm super excited. So let's see what happens. Okay, bye. Okay, so now we have done, not sure if there's a term for it, but you can see it's almost straight, evening out the warp. So you just add a few strands of thicker waste yarn, 3 at a time, bead, 3, bead, then you end up with this nice straight edge. What it also does is it shows you if you have any uneven bits, which I did. So I just tugged here and there at the apron strings and got it all nicely evened out. So now we have a nice even tension right across, and I'm ready to go. Another little tip that I learned from Kelly Casanova is to always make sure that you start and end in a hole. That will ensure that you have nice even straight selvages. So that I've done. Well, the reed does start and end on a hole. So I have started and ended on a hole, and now we are ready to weave. I'm super excited. Oh, of course, I'm actually nowhere nearly ready to start because I still have to wind on my shuttles. And unfortunately, the supplier only had the shuttle that comes with the rigid heddle. So I only have one that is the full length. Well, let's try to zoom out here, which is almost the full length. So a little bit irritating. But I have 2 different colors I'm using and 1 shuttle. So a trick I've learned is you wind half onto one and half onto the other. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I'm sure I'll figure it out. Just wanted to let you know that. Okay, I think now we are ready to start weaving. I made a plan. I had this shorter shuttle. So I've wound some of the yarn onto the shorter one and some of it onto the longer one. But I just wanted to bring you in close that you can actually now nicely see the difference. Although there's a little bit of similarity between the two, I think they're going to make a nice contrast for the pattern that I have in mind. This is what's left of my 2 balls of yarn. Hopefully I have enough if I've done all my calculations correctly. So now I can start weaving. And just quickly checking in. I've done the first pattern repeat. It's looking quite nice, so looking quite forward to the rest of it. I think definitely one's going to get the pattern that I wanted, even though it's a variegated yarn. I've just been doing the hem stitching, as you can see there. It's looking really, really nice, I think. It's just a 3x3 hem stitch. So you go 3 yarns across, 3 yarns up, and then loop them over and knot. And I'm nearly done with that, and then I can advance the warp and carry on. Just checking in quickly, probably maybe a third of the way, I'm not sure, just guessing. I'm actually just loving how this pattern is developing. Super, super chuffed with it. Still, I suppose every new weaver can relate if I say I'm quite amazed that I'm making this. I suppose at the end of the day, the loom is making it. I'm just pushing the yarn through, but nonetheless, I am super impressed. I'm about to advance the warp and carry on, and I will check in with you again later.